What's up, gamers? How's it going? Welcome in. Sorry for the delayed stream. It was the pretty wacky grocery trip. There's these dogs running around, and it took forever. But anyways, I'm back. We're gaming. So yeah. We're gonna be working on Deadlift. I want to see if we can make some like large rooms generate, because I think that would be pretty epic. So we're gonna mess around with that. I don't know how hard or easy it's gonna be to do that. But yeah, let's try it out. So let's go over to here. I mentioned in the last stream that I figured out a way to like keep all these, you know, not have to duplicate one for every single region. So that's kind of the technology that's opened us up to the possibility of doing larger rooms. Also, we can do larger rooms because we don't really have like rovers anymore. So it lets us do more intricate environment designs. So I think it'll be a good thing. So let's just jump into it. Let's duplicate this one. Call this a room center. And this is going to be the simple one. It's just going to be like, we're just going to build some corners out over here. We'll just grab whatever the Y coordinate is of this one. Global. Put that in there. Now we're just gonna delete all of this extra garbage. So that's just 4 away? No. 2 away. No. Okay, whatever, let's just copy this. Oh. Is that right? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, grab these guys. Merge at last. All of these can go away. Delete. Delete. Merge at last. Boom. So we're just gonna do this over and over and over. Let's see. I feel like this is inefficient. It's fine. Oops, make that -4. Merge at last. Whoa. Let's go. I saw 4-star Yelp review. Thank you so much for that. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. That's crazy. Gifted sub to Zach. Thank you very much. Yeah. Round of applause, everybody. For 4-star Yelp review. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, now you don't have to watch ads anymore. It's epic. Ads. If it wasn't for the ads, Twitch wouldn't be that bad. And then we grab these guys. Ooh. These mods without sub is unacceptable. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. Just grab these guys. Alright, this is the center. It is just flat. Delete edges. So I think for these rooms, I actually want the ceiling to be like a little bit taller than the corridors, just because we might as well take advantage of that. So like, this is 4 meters tall, I believe. We got hype train going. Let's go. Thank you, gamers. I could see moving this up 2 more meters to be like 6 meters tall. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we've got room center. And we're gonna need a lot of these to get this working properly, unfortunately. Because we're gonna need like just a bajillion. Like, for example, the straight one here is gonna need to be all funky. But we don't have a choice. So let's duplicate the straight one. Call this room side door. Because we also need ones that have like an opening for the other corridor to connect to, and then also a solid one. It gets pretty annoying. So let's just delete. Well, let's not delete this, but let me think here. So these are 4 across here. We can just extend this one off by 2. Extend it off by 2. And then we kind of do this. Oh, what? Where's our vertices? Oh, the faces are just super weird. Let's delete only faces. Whoa! Crazy. Thank you so much for gifting all the subs. I appreciate it. It's crazy. Let's go. Thank you so much for it. I appreciate it. That's really awesome. By larger, do you mean larger maze or larger quarter pieces? Essentially larger in the sense of doing, what is this face? Doing like rooms instead of just the corridors. It'll make more sense soon. Oh my goodness. Hey, John, what's up? Welcome in. How you doing? It's been a little while. Thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it. How's it going? So I guess I keep those up there. Just trying to think the best way to do this. Here, let's just do this. Delete all these vertices. What is going on with our faces? Where are these from? I've never had this happen. I can't select them. What is going on? There's no modifiers. Oh! I had the other... Oh no. That's what was happening here. Okay, it's fine. Just rename this one straight. And this one becomes room side door. Okay. I was like wondering where the phantom geometry is coming from. It didn't make any sense. We're good now though. Let's see, new less terrible jobs, started game dev again. Nice. Yeah, I've been starting to work on some new stuff on the side. Still busy finishing Starground, but it's finally messing around with other ideas, so yeah, it's been going good. I've been working on this game and Lured In, which is a fishing game, so that's been fun. I can show that one off here in just a second if you want. But yeah, you know, eventually Starground's gonna be finished, so I think the idea is I'd like to be able to line up some future games before then, you know. Because I think it's important to kind of keep the, you know, profit stream going if I actually want this to be a viable job. So let's go. But yeah, like I think the idea is like I launch Starground or always have something like a couple months gap. I think it's just a good way of doing things. I'll take a look. Yeah, I can show that off in just a second here. I'm just fixing some model looks like a mess. Let's see, x-axis. That should be like -4. There's like that little baseboard thing, whatever you call it. What do you call that? I guess it's baseboard. Yeah. Okay. And then this face goes over there like that. And actually, I'm just gonna loop cut this. Okay, yeah, I did one cut. We'll delete all these guys over here. And now we can mirror. It's much better. All right, anyways. Didn't get an emote. Oh, man. Twitch is really, really funny. People have so many problems with Twitch. Like, some people have that issue where it, like, locks their resolution to a really small one for some reason, which I always think is really stupid. I think sometimes that happens when you have an ad blocker on, and then Twitch decides to just lock your resolution, which is so stupid. Then for some people, the audio gets super out of sync and stuff. It's just a nightmare, dude. I wish YouTube had, like, all the epic emotes and stuff, because then I probably wouldn't bother with Twitch anymore. But yeah, this is the other game I've been messing with. This is Lured In. It is a idle fishing game. Been working on some research tree stuff with this. I think I'm actually going to take these changes or this new tech that I created with the research tree like this and put this into Starground. Because right now the research tree in Starground we have is just like a big list of buttons, and I think it's very unintuitive because you don't like get a good sense of like the connection between these researches. But with this, it's very clear like this thing or like a different one extends off of this one, you know. But yeah, anyways, this game is about fishing and running an aquarium. You can purchase fish tanks in here. You travel to an area. You can go fishing and catch a fish. I still didn't do the animation for the player and stuff. It's a little janky. And then you have to beat a mini game. I want to have like a bunch of different mini games that pop up, but that's just one for now. But yeah, you catch fish. Now we have them in here. I can put them in a tank, and now we're making passive income with this guy in here. So that's the whole idea. Yeah, basically quick time events. Yeah, I think I have that written down as one of the. We have like a little list of a couple here. Yeah, I think we have a quick time events one. What is this? Big arrow. Oh, okay, yeah. I think we did. I guess we didn't specifically say like quick time, but like I think the random key pressing is a quick time event. I'll just put it in here. But yeah, I want to throw a whole bunch of different ones in because I think it's just fun. So yeah, we've been messing with the research tree. You can spend your money on different upgrades, more advertising upgrades. These are equipment upgrades. But it's coming along. Just need to keep grinding things out. We've got all these different regions now. Lake, river, and ocean. I messed a little bit with the water shader so it can like do different patterns. Like for example, in the river, it moves down like a river, perhaps. Yeah, I've always really liked making idle games. I think it's nice how like simple they are to make. Really all it is just a upgrade system and something to make your money keep going up. Because like I did a Pizza Pit a little while ago for the Idle-a-thon, and that was a fun one. I always did want to either like work on this one more or like just make a new, better idle game, so... yeah, I have like... What number even is that? $993 billion. But yeah, this is fun. I did this in, I think it was 3 days, the jam. But yeah. It was a good time. But there is some weird web issues when you export. For some reason, like, the GPU particle emitters don't, like, they just get cut off. I don't know why. I think they just don't work on web for some reason. But yeah. Or this jam. No, your game was awesome. What do you mean? Hopefully one day we do another Idle-a-thon. I mean, I might do like a different genre, but I'm not sure. Has similar weird issues with web games. Yeah, sometimes it's a little funky. I had a lot of trouble with Coal Keeper trying to get that exported with Down Jam. Anyone that was here seeing that, like, it was a nightmare. I don't know why it was such a pain. Where are my games? I think I go here. But yeah, man, this was very troublesome. It kept just like not working. I don't know. It doesn't even have any screenshots in here. Oh well, here's the itch link. Yeah, no idea why I couldn't get this exported. It wasn't that I was like, I mean, I was on the compatibility mode, so it should have been fine, but it just did not work. Yeah, web is a little quirky. I think the thing that it usually tends to cause issues with is like either it just doesn't work at all or like weird shader issues. Those tend to break sometimes, I've noticed. Like GPU particles and shaders, like graphics card related things. So, but usually, yeah, 2D is much easier. 3D game's so much worse. Yeah. I think 3D is very, very problematic. I always have trouble with it. But yeah, I don't know. Probably won't be doing a web build of this game. One thing that I did talk about in one of the streams, I think, is doing like a mobile version of this game, and you know, the idea is not completely eliminated. Maybe, but I'll have to think about it. So let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. Blazers, welcome in. How's it going? Yeah, different web browsers had different issues too, and I was doing Boiler Boy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've also noticed that. I think, like, what was it? Some specific browsers would just get really laggy for some reason. I think it was, like, Firefox. On one of the games I did, it was just, like, terrible. I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, it's annoying. Web building is a nightmare. Computers have, all the browsers have such different ways of doing things, and it just causes a ton of problems. But let's see. Pixel Tabletop, welcome in. I draw all the assets. Yes, I did. Yeah, I drew all these. I actually have had a really good time drawing the assets for this game because I think my favorite thing to draw are like icons like this, and this game's got a lot of icons, so it's kind of actually fun to do. But and the fish, drawing them are fine, I guess, but there's a lot of fish I have to draw. I've got like 15 more fish lined up now that I need to do. So weird. When I use Firefox and it just started smoking, does not work. Oh yeah. I had thought about using Firefox, but I don't know. I think, like, the truth is that all browsers suck all equally bad. So I don't know if it's even worth the trouble to swap to a different one. The only one I've been looking at recently, which I think could potentially be good, is like the Zen browser, I think. Because it's actually like a completely different like framework. Most things are just Chromium based, but I do not think this is Chromium based or whatever Firefox uses. So, and I think this is also, I think it's open source. I'm pretty sure this is the one I was thinking of, unless, I don't know, I'm wrong. Yeah, this is the open source one. So it looks pretty interesting. I think I would like to try this out. It's still like in beta, but I think once it leaves beta, it might be a pretty interesting browser to try. Something that's open source and not based off of all the, you know, bringing in all the technical debt from all the old other frameworks sounds pretty interesting to me, so. But yeah. They're the last cool browser, then became uncool anyway because of the AI stuff. Yeah. Yeah, aren't they doing like... Yeah, that's a... Also, one thing that sucks about Firefox is, isn't it like Google is funding like 80% of their... Because like they pay a ton of money to have Google be the main search engine for Firefox? I don't know. It just seems like... I'd want to swap to something like this. Just get away from all of that. But yeah. Thought it was a 3D game. What, Zen browser? Yeah. So let's see, man, I'm new to the Godot, but I can learn one or two things, how to develop a game. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Yeah, hopefully I can be of service. Let me know if you got any questions about stuff. It just doesn't have Netflix Prime Video. Oh, it doesn't support streaming video? That's odd. Yeah, I mean, it's still in beta, which is why I'm not swapping over to it, because I think it's... I don't want to get started with it, and it turns out to be a nightmare. A compatibility nightmare, but hopefully, at some point, I'll full swap over to this. Because there's also, like, mods and stuff. I guess this is basically just plugins, but... the fact, though, that this is open source, I think, is very interesting, because... You're not going to get any of that proprietary garbage. Like, Chrome has a lot of restrictions around what plugins can do. So, for example, like a ton of the old ad blocker plugins just all broke because Chrome decided to make a big, massive breaking change specifically to break all the ad blockers. But you'll never get something like that with an open source browser because, you know, nobody's going to let that fly. So... But yeah, very neat though. Oh, there's... Oh, 7 different pages. But yeah, you know what? Let me bookmark this. Because I'd like to take a look at that another time when it's actually out. I'll also follow. Why not? But yeah. Opera used to be cool. Yeah, Opera seemed fine, but... Every time I see someone using Opera, they've got like 500 plugins installed, and there's all these effects and sounds, and my brain just melts, and I'm like, oh my god, it's too much. Apparently you need a license to display Netflix. That's odd. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty strange that they would require that. I don't know. But yeah. I hope it succeeds, though. I hope it doesn't just kind of fade away into obscurity because there's too many hoops to jump through. I do worry that, like, Mozilla and Google are going to be making it very hard for them on purpose, so... But yeah. Anyways, we're not working on Lured-In. Let's continue with this. So yeah, let's fix this floor. It's all sorts of messed up. So you're talking about edit service, don't know where I'm going after Windows 10. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Windows 11 isn't that bad. Some people have a very strong resentment toward it, and I partially get it. I'm not a fan of all the AI stuff, but, you know, Luckily, you can just disable it all, so it's never been like a huge issue. But I think eventually, I hope, like with Zen Browser, I hope like there's a more, I don't know. I'd love to be able to swap to Linux one day, but... Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot that we're actually modeling. I should have pinged you. I have it, like, written down on my list of things in here. Like, literally, if we go to Deadlift. It's like right here, at Frisco for modeling. sorry about that. But... my apologies. Yeah, I don't know. I would love to swap to Linux, but there's just still too many, like, compatibility issues and stuff, in my opinion. To some people, it doesn't matter, but there are a lot of programs I use on Windows that just aren't compatible with Linux, and it's, right now, at least, not worth the headache for me, I think, to swap, unless there was, like, a really good reason to. So... But hopefully eventually. I know there is that one, I think, that's supposed to be, like, very Windows user-friendly. I can never remember the name of it, but it's like... whatever you call it. It's something, I don't remember, though. Is Windows 11 too heavy? It's definitely, I would say, on the heavier end in terms of, you know, operating systems. So... if you've got a really weak computer, I don't think you'd have a good time on Windows 11. Windows, honestly, has never really been a very lightweight operating system, so... here, let's break all these. Delete these faces. Moved my origin point thing. So thank you so much for the follow. Why did that not work? Delete. Oh, edges. There we go. Okay, now we're going to raise this up 2 meters. Select all these. Fill. Set this back to the wall. And we got to make sure these are all properly oriented. So we can go to overlays, face orientation, and we can already see these are all completely backwards. Okay. So I gotta flip all of these. Well, I guess it makes it easy. I just literally flip all of them. There we go. We also got to do the same thing on the center really quick. That's looking good to me. All right. Let's see in here. SteamOS seems the only possible option. It does seem interesting, but I don't know. I just need something that's as compatible as Windows is for creative applications, right? Like, I do think SteamOS is great if all you're doing is gaming, but it's not great if you need, you know, other stuff. But there are some interesting things in the works, though, with Linux. I know they're working on, like, a... let's see, because SteamOS uses, I think it's ARM64 or whatever for their, like, CPU instruction set. But I think they're working on a way to convert x86. I watched, like, a video on that a while ago. I can't remember all the details, but hopefully soon compatibility gets better. So you got a i5 9400F. Yeah. You definitely need a better CPU. Steam Machine might finally make SteamOS a Windows competitor for normal PCs. Yeah, I hope it does. Honestly, I'm a big hater of Windows. Windows used to be epic. Back when, like, Windows 7 was out and stuff, I felt like it was a pretty solid OS, but they haven't really done, like, they haven't added anything good since then. Windows 7 was the peak, and then it's just plateaued for 8 and 10 and 11. It's like the same OS, but just more bloat. I don't know. It's a little annoying. I worked with Ubuntu 16 for about 3 years, and I built a PC a few years later and spent a whole day or two configuring a new version of Ubuntu. Yeah. Turned out that 3 days later, the video drivers messed up. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's like what I worry about with Linux, right? Is like some kind of issue like that where it's like fine for a little bit and then everything goes wrong. Because like, the thing is that like, it basically... my computer is my livelihood. Like, making games is the way that I make money. So, I don't know. The notion of throwing all that away and just, you know, everything that I have already working and moving to Linux is troublesome. But I hope one day it's stable enough to where that isn't a concern anymore, right? PC's having crackling sounds. That doesn't sound good. Is that just your hard drive, or is that like, I don't know. Bought a Steam Deck 3 weeks ago and impressed with the number of games it has support for. Yeah, there's a lot of games, honestly, that I think, I mean, me included, like with Starground, I think there's a lot of developers specifically working on Steam Deck support, so it's always good to see that. Yeah, I want nothing more than for Windows to fall. That would be pretty nice, actually. Oh, I just deleted every face. Awesome. Oh, I see what I did. Ooh, oh. To be fair, Steam is Blender, Krita. Yeah, I mean, it has those, but there's some things that I use that are only on Windows. Like, for example, Filter Forge I've been using a lot for making Deadlift, but it does not have a Linux support, I don't think. So that immediately to me is like one big, huge reason I wouldn't swap to Linux right now. But, you know, again, I hope one day. Let's see. Well, games I tried, it's working fine. Check Proton DB because yeah. I think that's a good way to do it. So close to switching Linux, but I play games that require. Oh yeah, I think like Valorant and stuff. That's another thing that's a little annoying is you can't do kernel level anti-cheat. Yeah, with Linux. It does seem kind of like an odd. I don't know why. I guess it's just the way that the kernel is in Linux. But yeah, it's a little annoying. Peak productivity levels. It's hard to do stuff and also chat, but don't worry, but don't stop chatting. The streams are to chat primarily. Yeah, ProtonDB is a very good website. Okay. Oh, really? You can set up custom controller buttons on the Steam Deck. Yeah, basically any game is technically compatible. I mean, some are like built for it, obviously. Steam has its whole Steam Deck verification process, which I had to go through with Starground. But you can definitely get it working with pretty much anything. Let's see, I'll be providing Steam Deck support for the game I'm currently developing with Godot. Yeah, nice. I definitely recommend all people launching on Steam to have Steam Deck support, because really it's not that hard to do. I mean, practically 90% of it is just controller support. Say, Celix, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. How's it going? How's everybody doing? What are you up to today on your stream? Just doing a little bit of modeling and some chatting right now. Yeah. Oh, thank you for the posture check. All right. And thank you very much. Oh yeah, I do owe you a posture check. We'll do a double. We'll posture check so hard that I stand up. And I have to wait for my desk to rise. Chasing bugs, working on a few different systems, learned about decals today. Nice, yeah. Decals are really cool. I wish I got into decals a little bit more earlier. But I've been messing with it with Deadlift, and they're pretty useful. It lets you do a lot of neat things. I think, like, I would love to do some more kind of procedural decals for doing, like you know, dirt stains and stuff on the walls. That would be a pretty good use case. It even says, like, I think in the documentation, like, that's a good use of it, so. But yeah. Yeah, standing stream. It's crazy, guys. Yeah, it's really nice. And honestly, I've been very impressed with the performance of the decals too. With like the chalk I added into Deadlift, I thought that would have been a huge problem. Because it spawns thousands of decals. But Godot, it doesn't cause any problems at all. It's like super fast. Godot actually has like a built-in culling system, like a distance culling thing specifically for decals, I've realized. So it works really well. Like we go into Deadlift, there's like a property in the project settings specifically for like the distance fade on decals. Or not the distance fade. The distance fade is a different thing, but there's like a cap on how many can be visually rendered in like a given viewport area. So yeah, it works really well. But I'm using it for impact markers. Yeah, that's a really good use of it for sure. Like bullet holes, any kind of damage impact kind of thing. Yeah. Will you ever have a streaming room reveal? I mean, we can do it now if you want. There's not a whole lot going on in here. I don't know how much I'll be able to show. Let's try. I'll turn that off. This is my room. My diploma. I have it's like an L desk. I've got like 2 desks. The standing one with my computer. Why is the camera shaky? Because it's on my standing desk and it's wobbly. Then we got the epic shelf. Godot plush. Moai head that I cast in concrete like years ago. Yeah, creeper. My head. Ace's head. Piano. Bunch of Lego sets that I bought and for Christmas and haven't done yet. My thousands of terabytes of RAM. I have so much RAM, guys. Not gonna lie. Not to flex on you guys, but I've been stockpiling every computer or old computer I've worked on that I've got, like, that's gotten replaced or upgraded. I take the RAM, and I have lots of RAM. It's all DDR3, though. I don't know if it's actually that valuable. It's, you know... And it's not like good RAM, it's kind of like, you know, cheap, like 2 gig sticks or whatever, but maybe I'll sell it. But I don't want to scalp people. That seems not good. I think if I am ever going to sell it, I'm just going to sell it for an actual normal price and not be mean. So, yeah. It just seems like evil. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll use them. Yeah, I got the Fex album, Subway of Your Mind. It's pretty awesome. RAM review when? Let's see what RAM I got in here. I've got all these sticks. Everything's gonna fall. It's a lot of RAM, guys. More of it's DDR4 than I expected. Okay, guys. RAM review. RAM? It is 16 gigs of... I'm pretty sure it's DDR3. This is 4 gigs of DDR3. This is 4 gigs of DDR3. It's all just DDR3, 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 DDR3. Yet another DDR3. More DDR3. I have so much DDR3 RAM. I can't use it for anything because none of my computers use DDR3. Another DDR3. Another DDR3. And then these are, I believe, also DDR3. They're like the tiny guys for like laptops. This one and then this one. Then we got the DDR4s. 1, 2, 3, and these 2. And these are all, how many are these? It doesn't say. I believe these are 8. But I don't know. Anyways, that's my RAM. I think I have more somewhere else, but I don't know. Anyways. Disable depth of field? It's not something I can just disable. That's not how depth of field works. It's because of my camera lens. It's real depth of field. It has to focus. Yeah. Anyways, back to what we're doing. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the room tour. Yeah. If you just like watch one of the devlogs, you can see the room. Actually, I don't know if I've done one since I did the new arrangement. Because I did like... I moved where my desk was recently. Well, not recently, like 4 years ago. Thanks for the journey into the room, TM. Yeah, no problem. I hope it was interesting. Man, these rooms are big, aren't they? Yeah, hopefully these aren't like too big. We'll see. I don't think we'll have like rooms that are that enormous, but cool if our new RAMs are wrapped in a pretty little cover. Yeah. Friends have been looking for RAM for like 4 months. Just stockpiling. It's all old RAM. I got these like literally 10 years ago, most of them. See the whole mansion? I wish. Let's see, we need to do a curve. Let's duplicate this one. This is gonna be room corner. So hide the side room. Initially, we're gonna have a couple of constraints on the way that these kind of work, because if I want to do like rooms that are smaller, I'm gonna have to have like an entrance for a corner piece of the room. It's gonna be a little annoying, but you know, it's possible. Let's see, I think these are 0.1. And then this goes up 0.2. I'm like swiveling on the chair. I'm gonna kill myself. All right. Let's fill this in. Topology. The topology isn't bad here. I think it's fine. Topology doesn't matter that much. I feel like the only time topology really matters is like if you're doing like if it's like really bad, then it matters. But this topology isn't that bad. If it works, it works. You know, this is just for a game. I'm not like sending this into a company or something and being like, here's my professional 3D model for you that you paid $1,000 for. Wait, what? Oh, right, it's mirrored. I was like, what's going on? Okay. So for this, we're going to have to apply the mirror and then remove this one. Set that to 4. Set that to 4. Now we delete these guys. Set that to 4. All right, guys, we got a corner piece. So theoretically, I think that's most of what we need for the rooms. I hope. But I don't know. Because we need, I think we just need the corner, the centerpiece, the side, and then the side with the door. So we're gonna experiment, guys, and see if this works. But yeah, these should just show up in here now. You can see, wait a minute, and then now we've got all the ones in here. I really love that I can just export models straight out of, like I can just save stuff as a .blend and it just like works in Godot. It's extremely convenient, I'm not gonna lie. It's one of the things I really like about Godot. Like a superpower, yeah, it's really nice. Because I've done this before with like exporting models into Unity, and you know, I mean, it's a standard industry practice, but you have to export everything as like a GLB or a GLTF. And it's just annoying because then if you want to edit those files again, you have to load it back up in a Blender. But here it's like I just make a change, Control S, boom, it's in Godot already. There's like the pipeline is so easy. So, yeah. So I think there's everything we need. We've got the centerpiece, the side, and then the side with the door. So we can just generate collision shapes on those. Do it as a static body child. Now we can re-export some mesh library. And sure, do that. All right, and we have to set up a bunch of code to make those work, but hopefully we can do it. And big boy, that's exactly what I want. Thank you very much. Yeah, syncing is definitely the best there. Yeah, for sure. It's very nice. Come on, game. Load up. Yeah, and anybody that hasn't seen the new stuff... Oh yeah, I forgot about this. I need to add a button to skip this. Let's turn that on down there. All right. Yeah, to anybody that hasn't seen some of the new stuff. Oh God. Hold on, everything is what's going on here? Let's turn off visible collision shapes. Also, it seemed like my camera sensitivity was really bad. Really slow. I guess it's fine. I've been enjoying doing the texturing for the 3D stuff. Yeah, it's been pretty fun. I've been doing like a lot of triplanar materials, which I know can potentially come with a performance cost, you know. So I'm aware of the problems I might be running myself into, but honestly, so far the game is running super fast and I haven't noticed any performance issues. So most of what I've been doing for all of the textures around here are all triplanar materials. This is extremely convenient. Like all of this stuff is triplanar. It's just so nice because then I don't have to worry about UVs. I just pop a model in and it just kind of works. And I can reuse these same materials to any other mesh that I want. So see on YouTube how to put the game window inside the editor. So in Godot, if you go to the game tab, there's these 3 dots up here. This is assuming that you're on Godot 4.5 and above. Click the 3 dots and click embed game on next play. And when that happens, when you click on that, it now runs the game in the editor. It's really nice. I just like it being contained in here so I don't have to be moving the windows and minimizing around, so. Yeah, I like triplanars too, use them a bit in my overlay, yeah. They're very convenient. Yeah, so far the pipeline has basically been generating a procedural texture with Filter Forge. Then I tweak it, lower the resolution, maybe do some posterization, then pop that in here. And that's pretty much it. Eventually, I think we're going to try and do some more hand-painted materials. I'd love to do, like, you know, actually going through here and painting them for real. But right now, they're all just, you know, like, one person said they were AI, but they're not. Filter Forge uses, like, mathematical formulas to generate noise textures and combine them, you know, to make actual textures. But it's a really useful program. It's been very nice for creating textures. It does cost money, but to me it's worth it. I bought it a really long time ago, well before anything, before I was even working on Starground. But it's great for doing 3D textures. You can just look through all these. There's a lot that you can do. Like bone, right? Also, something I love about these textures, they're all seamlessly tiled. Makes it very good for triplanar materials. But yeah, you just go find the filter that you want to use. You can open it up in the program. Then usually they have a bunch of parameters you can tweak to change it. But yeah, it's really convenient. There's also another alternative that's free, actually, called Material Maker. And this one was actually made in Godot, which is pretty cool. Ooh, 1.5 just came out, huh? But yeah, this one is completely free. So if, you know, anybody's doing textures in Godot, this is a very solid option. I would definitely take a look at this one. And actually, you don't have to, like, be using Godot for this. You could also just use it and then export them as non-Godot resources. So, but yeah, it's practically the same thing as Filter Forge. You just pick the shader in here that you want. All of these are just created by people using, like, the node editor. You can upload your own materials on here, and then anybody can go through and grab them. Like Bricks Brown. But yeah, another really good way to generate procedural textures. So, I've seen that one. I'm so scared of the rabbit hole of material design. There's a lot that goes into it. Like, I mean, you've got, like, obviously just the basic color, but then you can dive into, like, generating normals and bump maps and roughness maps, and there's so many different layers to it. It's a lot, but it does seem really cool. I've never really honestly spent, like, a ton of time. I've messed with, like, the shader editor in Blender, doing shaders in there before and stuff, but I haven't really, like, sat down and tried to make textures like this. Like, most of the textures I've ever done is just a noise map or like a cloud or something, right? But some of these can get really crazy, you know, like this, or like any of these, really. Yeah, rusty healing metal, leather. So yeah, this is very interesting. I would like to swap to this eventually because I just like the idea of it being open source and made with Godot. Pretty cool. But I think I want to wait until it runs a little bit better. Apparently it is coming to Steam, actually, which is really interesting. But I think this could be a really good program. Assuming that they can just kind of fix some of the performance issues, which hopefully that gets worked out. But yeah, really cool though. And something that's also nice about this, since it's made in Godot, you can just export directly as a .trez file, which is like the file format for materials in Godot, right? So pretty cool. You can just literally find it, export it, and you're done. Like, yeah. I want to buy Substance Painter. Isn't it, like, really expensive? How much was Substance Painter? Oops. Well, it's probably a subscription, I'm sure. But it's Adobe. I don't want them to use my things for AI training data. $25 a month just for the basic stuff. Yeah, I don't know about that. I've gotten very tired of Adobe's pricing. I think there's enough open source alternatives now that usually that works pretty well. And you can try Instamat. Okay, that's interesting. Choose to give Adobe money or use their software, yeah. I used to use a lot of Adobe products like Photoshop and Premiere. But I just get tired of it though at a certain point. I've found a lot of alternatives, right, that like work just as well. For video editing, I think DaVinci Resolve is really good. There are a couple little quirks with DaVinci that can be annoying sometimes, but I think it almost does everything that Adobe does, and it's free. There is a studio version, but most of what comes with that is like online features like cloud backups, and also there's like a mode where you can like work on a project simultaneously with someone else, which is really interesting. I think like if you're an actual studio making videos or movies or whatever, very worthwhile purchase. It's still way cheaper than any other video editing software, so yeah, I've had a good time with it. I don't think it's open source, but it's yeah, good though. And then I've been using Krita instead of Photoshop, and I've had a really good time with Krita. It's open source, it's free, and it's surprisingly got a lot of ability. So you can even do like vector painting and stuff in here, which is really nice. So yeah, definitely a solid drawing program. It works well for pixel art. I still think Aspire is probably better if you're just doing pixel art, but it's a very good like multi-purpose, like, you know, be able to do whatever you want to draw in here kind of program. Can't wait till I get a new job and I can stop using Adobe forever. Yeah. I mean, you might as well take advantage of it if you're getting it for free, yeah, but... Also, we got an ad starting. I apologize, gamers. My DaVinci be a little heavy. Yeah, I mean, I think any kind of video editing software is going to be pretty, you know, taxing on your computer, but it runs a lot better for me than Premiere did. Premiere, I always found, tended to crash very often, so... Well, yeah, finally, I was going to go over this stuff. This is some of the new stuff we've been adding in Deadlift recently, just for people that haven't been here. We got the chalk. This is the decal stuff I was talking about. It works pretty well. And then I got the eraser. How to use the crayon? Just hold left click. I'm going to add like another prompt down on the bottom to show you how to do it. But yeah. Of course, now we got ads. Yeah, we've been adding a bunch of other stuff too. We got the inhaler. What else? Scrap shield. The compass. There's a whole bunch of new gizmos that we got in here now. Yeah, it's coming along. I think this, having a lot of different items that you can create will be nice for this game. You know, it gives the player a little bit more agency, which is always really important. So, yeah, let's wait for the ads to finish. I don't want to do stuff and nobody can see what I'm doing. Do I plan to change the 2D appearance of the items? I don't think so. I think we're probably going to stick with the 2D items. The reason is because then it lets us add a lot more items more quickly. 3D stuff is cool, but, you know, modeling is time consuming. And I feel like we're able to get the idea across with just a 2D sprite. And I think it also helps make the game look more visually interesting, too. Like, you know, there's a million games where they're all 3D. It'd be fun if they weren't billboarded. Yeah, but I think there's a lot of problems with that. If they were just like a plane with a texture pasted on top, you'd like drop it on the ground and then it would have like 0 thickness, so you couldn't like tell what the item was. I think that would be a little annoying. But I think the billboarding stuff works pretty well, in my opinion. I swear there's another item we added. I can't remember. Let's go look in the table. Oh, yeah. The bandage and the med kit. Almost forgot about those guys. Yeah, now you can finally heal yourself if you take damage. Or I could do something like Minecraft, where they extend the Z-axis to make 3D out of a 2D texture. Yeah, I mean, I could do that. But I think you still kind of run into the same issue, where if you view the item at certain perspectives, it's really almost impossible to tell what it is. So that's the only thing. Because then otherwise we'd have to have all the items like constantly rotating to avoid that issue, which is what Minecraft does. I think it works well in Minecraft because it's like just a goofy little sandbox game, but I worry that might kind of ruin the atmosphere in a game like this. So also, ads are over. Sorry about those. But yeah, these are all the new items we got. Bandage, compass, scrap shield, inhaler, medkit, chalk, and chalk eraser. And they're all functional, so. Thank you very much, yeah. I think it's coming along. Yeah, my goal, I think, with this game is I want there to be tons of different items you can craft, because I think that's going to give the game the complexity it needs. You know, you can make lots of decisions on what you end up crafting, and also how you use the items. Like, a lot of these are consumable. The inhaler, when you use it up, it instantly recharges your stamina. So it's pretty useful, but also it has the potential to be wasted, so, which I think is an interesting thing. But yeah. I think you'd really enjoy texture painting. Yeah, I think I've done a tiny little bit of texture painting, but like this is the thing I texture painted, this Starground plush. Yeah, I would like to try it out more. I just need to figure out like a good workflow for it. Because I've done it in Blender, but Blender doesn't really have a lot of good brushes, I feel like, for texture painting. So, I don't know. I need to figure out, like, maybe there's a different program I can use that would work better. So. Let's see. I believe now, because I've to plan some stuff for RPG. Yeah. Sounds good. Thanks for coming in, Frisco. Appreciate it. Yeah, always good to put people in positions where their decisions will be impactful. Yeah, definitely. I always think of this game, Deadlift, as like a game specifically about making decisions. Because that's what everything, I think, kind of comes down to in this game. Like, you choose what item do you bring back, what item do you craft. You know? Even just down to minor stuff like, how are you marking down with your chalk? What symbol are you using for what? What direction do you decide to take in the maze? I think following that kind of philosophy is good. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. These brushes are laggy too for me. I don't know what's up with that. That's odd, yeah. I never had any like lag with the brushes, but it was just like, I think all you really get in Blender is just like a circle brush. Which is fine, but like texture painting to me, I need textured brushes. How else am I supposed to do it? I mean, I can go in there with a tiny little brush and do stuff, but I don't know. I like how like Krita, you can just import different brush shapes, right? Because you've got like, you can do whatever you want in here. I mean, these are just some pixel art brushes I have, even like a grass brush and stuff. I wish like Blender had stuff like this so I could make some more interesting materials, but yeah, I just don't know. I mean, maybe there's a way to do that or some kind of plugin maybe. I need to look into that. But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe at some point I might go through a lot of these models and like actually give them real UVs so I can be more specific about what the textures are. Because, you know, obviously these are all just triplanar. Triplanar is really cool, but one downside to triplanar materials is that you can't really customize them per object, you know? I can't like go to this chair and like draw some darkness around here and change it because it's all shared material. So I could definitely see, you know, some good applications for doing texture painting. All right, best bet to customize would be to throw a decal on. Yeah, like decals are fine, but I could see some limitations with decals. Like one thing I imagine is might be annoying for objects that move around. There's not a whole lot of things in here that move, but you'd have to be specific with like the way you're parenting the decals and stuff. But yeah, it's hard to say. I'm crafting nothing. Let's see here. I'm just thinking in my brain how I want to do these rooms, right? I guess the rooms will be pretty big, which will be good. Hello, sir. So yeah, since we don't have like inner corners and stuff and doorways, four corners, we're gonna have to do these rooms right now can only be laid out in a very specific shape. And that shape is this. If I go into here, just create a big area. We'll have to do the rooms like this, where we have corridor, room that's at minimum 3x3. That's our limitation right now. But hopefully I can add in all the other shapes that are required to do different kinds of rooms. Because I think like one like this could be neat, where it's like two corridors go into like a smaller corner room like that. Which we can't do right now, because then we need a corner piece here that also has two, like it gets pretty a lot of variations required, because then you need a variation that's a corner, a variation that has one door, a variation that has the other door, and then a variation that has two doors. So you need like 5 different variations just for a corner. And it gets really complicated. And then if you want to get into rooms like this that are shaped with like inner corners, that's a whole nother task. I'm getting shot at. So it's a big thing. I'm just gonna kind of avoid those things for now. Because I don't know if it's worth all the trouble. Maybe eventually I'll go through and make all those. This is a lot. Every time I started mess with maze and structure gen, I get scared. Yeah. It's definitely a lot of work. It's cool though. I do like procedural generation. I think it's very nice for speeding up development of things, like, because if I were to spend time handcrafting every single one of these levels, like, that would take a million years. And also, eventually, you're gonna see all of them, right? So, I think having a little bit of proceduralness is good. The way I'm doing the maps is that the layout of the maps and the biomes that generate are static. You can see these are the maps that actually get used. So I actually manually draw the layouts of the maze and like where the biomes are. but I don't like have to manually position the corridor structures, the objects, the entities, the items, blah, 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 you know. All of that stuff is always random, so. It's nice because you can get this map layout, but then every single time you do it, it'll be slightly different. So I'm hoping it'll be good to make things varied enough, but also the reason I'm doing this is I can avoid like problematic map layouts, because I think that's one of the things that's really annoying about procedural maze generation. Because you have to be on the lookout for every possible configuration that can happen. This way I can just avoid those and I don't have to worry about programming it. So also, it kind of prevents people from getting mazes that just suck. Like, it would be really dumb if one got generated and it was like this shape. Because that's just not even fun. Just walking in like one super long corridor, you know? It kind of lets me control, like, okay, it's always going to have like some branching areas and rooms. You're not just going to get stuck with some stupid one, right? So I think it's a good balance, because honestly, it's really easy to draw in these rooms like this. Like, it only takes me like 10 seconds per map. But it saves a lot of headaches, I think. Oh, the doorman. Oh. I'm sorry. This is the doorman. There's a new guy we added. Yeah, he's the guy that comes out of a hatch if you don't keep it shut. So I think he'll be a fun addition. One thing that's interesting about him... Oh, my webcam froze. I didn't realize. Hold on, guys. I think I'm running out of VRAM again. I wish I had a more VRAM. It's really annoying. What is this? Surfaces... size. That's odd. Okay. Let's hunt for what's using up all my VRAM. It's awesome. Okay, maybe this is the game? I don't know. Maybe something happened in the game. Seems okay though. I don't know. I don't know what happened. A little quirky. Yeah, I keep constantly running out of VRAM, and it's kind of a big problem. I don't know what to do about it. I mean, the solution is to get a graphics card with more VRAM, but graphics cards like literally are as expensive as buying a used vehicle. Like, do I want to buy a graphics card or should I buy a literal car? It's, I don't know. They're too expensive. I'm not sure what to do. I'd love to get like a 5090, not even for the gaming performance, but just for the VRAM, right? But they're like $4,000 now or something. I can't afford that. I don't know. I don't know how I'm ever going to upgrade my computer. Because everything's getting expensive. Even CPUs now, which kind of historically have always been very affordable. Which is too bad. RAM is ridiculous. Graphics cards are ridiculous. Even SSDs now are getting ridiculous, and CPUs. Motherboards were already kind of really expensive for the new like AMD chipset. So I guess I'm just screwed. It's gonna cost me like $5,000 to make a computer. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's really strange times. Hoping for a reset, some surprise tech leap. Yeah, it's frustrating. Sucks because like I felt like I was almost right at the point where I wanted to upgrade, like just time wise. Like it was like been like 6 years since I've gotten my last parts, and I was like, all right, you know, it's time. And then all this happened, and I'm like, I guess it's not time anymore. So it really sucks. Sometimes people actually do a good job innovating, so that's what we're gonna hope for. Yeah, I hope. I don't know. It really sucks. It sucks when like the only thing you can hope for is like the economy to collapse. You know, that seems like a bad thing, but it seems like it would fix a lot of problems. Yeah. But I'm on the lookout. Hopefully I stumble upon some kind of good deal somewhere. I've considered like just getting a AMD card that has a lot of VRAM because those are a lot cheaper, but ugh. All I've heard with AMD is just horror stories about drivers, and I don't know if I want to go down that rabbit hole. An economy is gonna collapse. We gotta get a decent price pair of RAM chips. I know, it's stupid. Don't even get me started on the housing market too. It's really dumb. But yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll just start making my own graphics card. I'll buy a lithography machine and make GPUs myself. Those things are so expensive. Oh, 3D printed GPUs, that'd be awesome. Oh, you gotta go? Sounds good. Yeah, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your night. Yeah, to advance so far, no one needs to work, then gotta have whatever we wanted for free. Well, it would be nice. I don't know if that'll happen at this rate. I'm worried that, like, it's not even the technology that would prevent that scenario, but, like, just human greed. I don't think, it's in the best interest of companies to, you know, establish a universal basic income, so thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Anyways, let's keep working on these rooms. I think we've got all the meshes we need now. I'm gonna go ahead and go into... We're just gonna keep spawning in one specific map right now. Just so I can test it. So let's just comment out all of these other maps. And just create a test map with rooms. And we'll call this one MG map. Roomy. Map roomy. Now we just create this map. So let's go to maze game. Maps. Easy. Oh god. I just moved this folder. Just duplicate this one. Boom, boom. Alright, and then we're just gonna create some rooms so I can test this. Let's do like a wider room like that. Call this map roomy. So we'll see if this works. Let's see. Welcome in. Do you think streaming helps you with productivity? I think in some ways it definitely does. I think overall what it does is it like kind of, it's like a disciplinary thing where I know on all of the stream days I have to make some progress, or I have to at least try, which is a good thing. Because it would be really easy for me to just kind of decide like, you know what, I'm just going to rest today and not work on the game. And then you get stuck in that cycle of continually telling yourself that every day. Which is bad. I'm probably, if I'm like actually locked in and developing, I'm probably more productive not on stream, just because obviously we don't have the distraction of chatting and all the stuff. But I I think overall, though, it is a really big help. I've definitely been more disciplined about it ever since I started streaming, so. Stuck with task paralysis and chronic procrastination. Feel like right now, might give it a shot as well, so I was wondering your experiences. Yeah. No, I definitely think if that's what you're struggling with, because I was in the exact same kind of boat with a lot of things. It was, yeah, you get locked into like a block sometimes, right? Where it's just too easy to push your project to the side and tell yourself, I'm going to figure this out later when I'm feeling like when I feel like I want to do it. But then it's bad because then you never work on your game. So streaming like gets you past that, because whether you want to work on it or not, you know, people are expecting a stream today. It's time to stream. So it kind of just forces you to dive into it and just figure something out. I'm not super productive every single day that I stream. But it's just good to keep refreshing your head space, or be like forcing yourself to work on it bit by bit in a way. So yeah, if you're struggling with that, I would definitely give it a try. I think it's a really good disciplinary force, streaming stuff. So, because then there's somebody that's like, there's expectations that are set up, right? People are expecting me to stream on any given day. So it's much harder to just push things to the side. Yeah, it definitely helped me, I think. Sometimes procrastination is a very problematic thing that I run into. So even like in high school and stuff, I always like was very bad about getting things done on time. So that's always been kind of my internal character flaw that I've had to deal with. It's both that and also perfectionism, because that's another big thing that's really problematic too. Is spending too much time on stuff. You'll start streaming too, just to overcome that problem. Yeah, I definitely suggest it. And you know, if things don't work out, then it's no big deal. You didn't really waste much time because you were working on the game while you were streaming, so that's, you still got things done, right? Yeah, I mean, there's also a lot of other benefits that stem beyond just the discipline of it, right? Because if you stream a game too, I think it's a really good way to market your game. It's an opportunity for you to both develop the game and advertise it at the same time. So that's always a really good reason to stream, for sure. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I would definitely try it out. Okay, so this is what we got in here right now. Yeah, obviously it's not generating any of the meshes yet. So it's going to be quite a complicated problem to figure it out. But let's go in here and start working away. Connect with the audience / players said game. Yeah, I think it's a really good community building thing. You get to actually talk with people that are interested in the game. So I think that's always really great. I think it's a win-win for both people on both sides. Like, it's great as a developer because you get to have like instant player feedback. People can kind of like help shape the game as it's being developed, right? Even if you're not actively doing a play test, I think it's always just really helpful. Like, I don't know, maybe somebody's like, you know, I've played a game like this before. I think you should take a look at that. And then you look at it and it's like, oh, that's really helpful. Thank you. Right? And then also for the player, I think it's always really neat as a fellow video game player to be able to, you know, have an influence on the game. And just like get some insight into the process. And I think it's always very fascinating. if nothing else, it's just entertaining, right? So, yeah, there's a lot of good reasons. I think it's, compared to, like, streaming gaming, I think it's a very, it has a lot of benefits over it, right? Like, when you're just playing a video game, it can be fun and entertaining, but that's basically as far as it ever goes. You're just recording yourself playing a game. And people can't really usually, like, interact or have a very much of an effect on that process. So, but yeah, a lot different with video game development, though. Or any kind of software development. Yeah. Ooh. I'm eating these Tic Tacs. If anybody's wondering what I keep eating. Boy, this is gonna be a hassle. Because I'm gonna have to check now instead of just... Oh, that one doesn't actually have a... That's why it keeps complaining in here. That should be okay. Wonder how I'm gonna deal with this. One problem we got here is that the center room only has 2 materials, right? Even though it has 3 in here, only like 3 are in use or whatever, so maybe I just need to enable that, save the block even if it has no users, and then try that again. Let's see if that fixes it. Oh, did not fix it. Well, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that, but I will choose to ignore the problem for now. We'll fix that later. Let's go into here. So, generate maze is the function where we do all this stuff. It's pretty simple right now, but things are about to get way more complicated. What this is doing is just checking essentially just a map of nearby neighbors. So, the thing is though right now we're getting only the cardinals. So we're gonna need to change this quite a bit. I almost wonder if we should do like some kind of binary search tree here. And the way we can do that is we assign each thing a binary value. So we can do like right. So this is what we could do. We have 8 potential neighbors. And then if there's a neighbor there, we can assign a value to that variable. I've done this before with other mind the gunshots. I've done this before with other games. And it usually works pretty well. Right, so we could say that's equal to 1. That's 2. That's 4. 8. 16. 32. 64. 128. And now we can figure out like every single possible configuration is now assigned a value, right? So that's kind of what we can do here with this now. TikTok's pretty addictive. Just saying you're watching much of the whole container now. Yeah, there's only only a couple left in here. Might as well just finish them off. I found some enums. Is there a way to do this better with enums? Can I assign a value with an enum? I don't know how I would do that. Let me look at the documentation for enums. Enum. Okay, so yeah, you can give it a value. Which is pretty interesting. Let me sit down and focus from sitting sometimes is a little easier to focus than standing. Ugh. Now that we're actually getting some meat and potatoes on this. So let's think here. Ever had a Loganberry soda pop? I don't think so. Loganberry soda. Aunt Rosie's. I've never had one of these. Loganberries. Sounds good though. They look like raspberries. I bet they're pretty yummy. I'll have to try it out sometime. See if I can get some. Sounds good. Yeah, I'll see if I can order some. Okay. Let me think of how I want to do this. I could do just a if check or like a... But that's inefficient. Because the other thing here too is I'm gonna have to change the rotation, which is really annoying. Right, because look how many rotations I have to do just for this curve. It's quite annoying. But I don't know how else I'm supposed to really do it, if I'm being honest. It sucks, but... How do you do a trinary statement again? Or a ternary, I mean. I always forget how to do it. Value one if that, else that. So what I could do, we have a position for each one of these. We have to modify get neighbors now. Before I make all these changes really quick though, I am going to commit to GitHub in case something bad happens. Mid push. Okay. All right, let's go into our get neighbors thing. And now we're just going to add more in here, I guess. It's probably a better way I could do this, but... Yeah, let's do let's do this. For X in range 3, Y in range 3. Then if map coordinates has position plus X and Y, we push it back. Also, we have to say, right, it can't be equal to position. Or let's just say if that xy is not equal to vector 2i dot 0. Or if it is equal to that, we just continue. So that should work now. We don't do any of this other stuff. Also, I do missing neighbors here. So if it has it, do that. Otherwise, I want to add that to missing neighbors as well. It'll just be good to have that. Never knew it was called that. Ternary. Yeah, they come up with these names. I don't really know why it's called ternary. It's a good question. I mean, I know there's binary. Like, I know it just means composed of 3 parts, but like, why? Is it 3 parts? If... I guess it technically is because you have value if thing, otherwise thing. So technically that's 3 parts. So maybe that's why they call it a ternary. Yeah, right. It's the only thing that would make sense to me. So what is going on here? If position is... Oh yeah, that's just forcing it. If it's like down at the opening area of the elevator, I force add a neighbor there just so it's always open. Yeah, that's fine. So now we can get rid of all this. And this should be returning, yo, thank you for the hydrate. Much appreciated. This is now going to return the neighbors in an 8x8 area. So kind of like before it was doing this, where this is the center, and then these are the neighbors it's checking. Now it's going to include the corners as well for a total of 8. So should help us with generating rooms. Yeah, ternary because the sign is first condition, else fall back 3 ops. Yeah. So Ninja Sky Entertainment, welcome in. How's it going? Okay, hopefully this all works. Let's go back to our function. Started using UE5 and a big question for you. Yeah, what's up? I hydrated, didn't I? I'll hydrate again just to make sure. All right. Oh, it's all good. So it equals 1 if neighbors.has vector 2i.up. else 0. And this is what we're just going to keep doing here. Two, 4, 8. I guess is the way we're gonna do this. Careful those vector 2s and neighbor. Those functions aren't the same as they were in the original statements. Let me go double check on this. For x in range 3, 0. Oh yeah, that's gonna be wrong. Let's go ahead and change range to be starting from -1. Starts from B, decreases steps of S. Stops for N. So we just said the min and max. -1 and 2. That's what I want there. I should fix that. How does the copyrights work with that? I've only done HTML5 games. Not sure about UE5 if it's the same process. With copyrights? Specifically, like, what is the copyright applying to in this case? Like, copyrights. Like the assets that you're exporting? Because that's always going to be the same legally, regardless of whether it's a web build or not. Let's see, back in the world. We're already here. So anyways, now what I can do is just do a big, massive match statement, I guess. I know it seems silly, but it's probably the most performant way of doing this. And then we just say var value is equal to up plus right plus down right. Is this the best way to do it? I don't know. So 0 is going to be nothing. 1 means it's just up. So that's going to be like down here with the straight. Like, how does this differentiate between a curve and a straight piece? I guess right here. Because I'm checking if the inverse rotation of that neighbor is the other one. So otherwise we do that. I made my own assets and everything for my game, but I'm using UE5 to build. Not sure if I export my game, if Epic covers me from having issues. With any copyright stuff, that's always like on the developer. So like if you included something in your game that you don't own the copyright for, it's not Unreal's fault. And that's not going to change regardless of whether you're doing a web build or you're exporting through Unreal Engine. So yeah, I would be careful about that. What I always do, just as a general rule of thumb, so I avoid any kind of copyright issues, is if you're using pre-existing assets, make sure that you're using, it has the CC0 license. Yeah, you're talking about saying, yeah, your game is like somebody else's asset, or like, yeah, copyright. It's just a matter of making sure that all your assets have, like, knowing what the licenses are on those. If you make them yourself, then you're totally fine. You can do whatever you want because you've made them yourself. But if you're, like, downloading assets from online, make sure you're only downloading ones with CC0. I mean, there's also other licenses, but most of the time they require, you know, credit. So you'll have to make sure legally that you include that in some kind of credits menu. Otherwise, you might get in trouble. Well, yeah, if you're building everything from scratch, then there's no problem. You're fine. So, don't worry about the copyright stuff then. Copyright only ever applies if you're downloading things from online. If you're just drawing it yourself, then you're fine. Or not drawing, but programming or modeling or whatever. So, okay, just using assets for mechanics. Yeah, I mean, if you're using assets, if you're getting like assets for mechanics or whatever, then you have to, you know, make sure. All of are you using like a built-in Unreal template, for example, for like movement or something like that? Or like camera movement? I'm trying to figure out a way I could do this without having so many different, using third-person template. Well, then the exact same thing applies. Double check what license that template has, because that template's a creative work. It's gonna be copyrighted. Yeah. So if you got it from some kind of asset store, it probably lists somewhere what the license is. We could just look it up. For example, Unreal Engine FPS controller, right? And we could just find one on here. Or let's just go to like the Unreal Engine asset store or whatever. We can now look on here. I guess it's called Fab now. And let's go find like some kind of orbit camera right here, right? Right here you can see license terms. This uses standard license, which is part of the Fab standard license. So it lists what you can do and what you can't do. You can use it commercially or privately, modify and adjust the assets, commercially distribute, use the assets with any compatible tools, not limited to Unreal. Share the asset, but you may not resell or redistribute the asset for free on a standalone basis or allow others to do the same. So that's what comes with the standard license. And I imagine most things will be under the standard license on a website like this. But just double check the license on here. I'm sure that you could sort on here by licenses right here. So you can make sure that it's like only standard licenses, for example, like only standard professional, right? And I would recommend doing that just so you're absolutely sure that you don't have any copyright issues. So you can be sure that all of these are safe to use in your game and to use commercially to make money off of. So, no, that's fine. It's a good question. I think it's, you know, it's important. It would suck if you just were making a game for fun and got in a bunch of legal trouble, right? So it's always really important to pay attention to that kind of stuff. But yeah, just as general rule of thumb, everything has a license. So that can be code or mechanics, like something like this, or textures or models or visual stuff. They're all going to have a license. And if nobody specifies a license, then assume that they own full copyright and they can do whatever they want. So like, for example, if I don't specifically explain what the license is, I just retain all ownership over everything. It's just like I can do whatever I want because I own the copyright automatically. I mean, it probably varies per country and stuff, so that's another thing too, but at least in the US, that's the way it works. So just be careful that if you do use assets, make sure they explicitly state what the license is. And using a place like this, like Fab, you have to specify the license before you can upload the asset, so you don't ever have to worry about that. But yeah. So yeah, basically if you buy it, you're fine, unless the stuff you bought was uploaded to the asset store was stolen. Yeah. This happened in one of my Humble bundles. Oh yeah, that's too bad. Have I ever had any copyright issues? No, I've never had any copyright issues before. And that's because I've always been pretty careful about it. it's not really that hard to avoid copyright issues. Just don't steal assets. And if you're using, you know, pre-made assets, make sure that, you know, you're following all the licenses and stuff. But yeah, so far, I've never had any issues with copyright before. In both ways, people trying to steal your assets of all? Yeah. Not that I'm aware of. There was that one game that guy was working on, DevBree or whatever, but like, he's not even working on that game anymore, so I don't really care. The only thing in there, I mean, it technically wasn't copyright theft. That game was extremely visually similar to Starground, but technically I don't think it was enough. I don't know if it would like hold up in court, but yeah, I've never really had any issues. Yeah, even with like Fiverr stuff, I mean, I don't think I've had any problems there. I'm sure somebody, I wouldn't be surprised if in the past somebody has taken assets I've drawn like pixel art and, you know, used them in ways that I didn't permit, but I haven't seen it happen, so as far as I know, nobody's done that. But yeah. I was just asking because my multiplayer extraction game is done. I didn't know if I had to pay a company to copyright and protect my work. Well, this is the thing. It's kind of, you can copyright it. For example, the Starground, I actually did pay a fee to copyright Starground and actually get like a real, like, you know, official copyright protection on Starground. So you can do that, and some people recommend doing it. Technically speaking, if you create any kind of creative work, you automatically own copyright over it. But, you know, there could be some kind of potential problem that arises where somebody could argue in court that you don't own copyright. But if you go through the official channels and get an official copyright application submitted and accepted, you can use that in court and instantly like just be like, yeah, I like legally own the copyright and there's nothing you can do. So, you know, probably a good idea to do that if like it's a game that's already been making a lot of money. I only did it with Starground because, you know, I made enough off of that game for it to be worth it, I feel like. I don't think I would do that for like a little game jam or something because it costs like $400 or something. So I wouldn't always recommend it unless your game's already doing really well or you're like confident that it's going to make a lot of money. So I also did the same thing with like Big Boy Games. It's a trademark. Trademark is a little bit different from a copyright, but it's practically the same thing. It just means that if somebody else makes a company called Big Boy Games, I can be like, hey, that's, you know, you can't use that name. I own the legal trademark to that name. So yeah, I'm not a lawyer, so you know, don't take any of the things I'm saying as fact. I could be completely wrong, but you know, so far I haven't had any issues. But yeah. Oh my god, I just set this all up. I guess I could have like multiple match statements go into each other. So thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. I mean, we could just calculate like what the different things will be. So like up and down, that's a vertical hallway. We know that that is 17, right? So number 17 means that it's going to have a neighbor above and below. So we know that we can set that to our straight corridor piece. And we just set rotation to whatever, I guess that. So we could do it that way. But the problem is then we have to repeat that same thing for a corridor rotated that way, corridor rotated theoretically the other way if it's, or no, I guess that would still evaluate to the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, this is where it gets a little bit annoying. So left and right combined, that's going to calculate up to 68. So let's just say vertical straight. Horizontal straight. This does give me a lot of control over all of these configurations, I suppose. And then right here we can say, set the index to straight. And then set rotation to that, sure. What even is that then? Is this gonna be up? Let's just do that, I guess. And then here it's gonna be straight, but this is gonna be now rotated toward left. So yeah, this is gonna take a long time to do, but at least I know that it'll be consistent and reliable. But let's see if this is somewhat working. Can you just write up your own copyright for it? That hold up in court, or does that have to be some third party? Yeah, I don't think you can do that. Because there's like the... For example, I went through the USPTO, which is the United States Patent and Trademark Office. I'm pretty sure that you have to go through official, like, government channels. I don't think you can just, like, have a piece of paper and be like, this is my copyright. Because, yeah. But this is the way to do it in the US. Again, it varies for every single country, but... yeah, it's like a legal process. It's very closely tied to the government. I don't think you can't just, like, do it yourself. But yeah, see, like, we can search this and we can go find Starground in here. Oh, do I need, like, a number? I think I might need the actual patent number. Oh, wait, that's the patent search. That's not the same thing. I need the, copyright search. Oh, this is a different website. You can search, this is not the same thing as copyright. It's really confusing. There's, like, multiple different websites for this stuff, so it's, like, annoying. So what was the one that I used? I think it was just this one. Just the US Copyright Office. I'm pretty sure is what I went through. Yeah, registration. I don't remember where I did it. Okay, it's this one. Yeah, it's... You know... You gotta love, government websites. They're pretty, funny. What, my login didn't work? Strange. Well, I wonder if, like, my password expires after a while. I'll probably have to reset it. I'll do that later. They need to make sure it's really yours, but if someone does copyright your game, you usually be like, look, mine was released at this time, worked on from X time. Yeah. You could definitely argue it. I just think it's... Copyright stuff is good if you just want to be very, you know, safe about it. Because then there's no arguing, like, you got to the copyright first, you own the copyright, whether or not anybody else, when they were working on it or at what time. So it would just be easier. You wouldn't have to really fight people over it. So... Yeah, you don't need to copyright it. It's not like a requirement, but it's just kind of like an additional layer, right, of security. Yeah, unless you have the MIT or GDO license, then you by default have full rights, yeah. Just might need to fight someone to prove when it was created, yeah. That's the thing that, like, if somebody, like, sued me over Starground or something, my legal fees would be so expensive, I would it wouldn't even be worth it. I would just like be like, okay, I give up, you win, because it would cost me like tens of thousands of dollars to go like to get a lawyer and go through that process. It's just not even worth it. That's why to me it was worth it to just pay the fee to get the copyright created, because yeah, it's like a couple $100, but then I don't have to have that possibility ever hanging over me, you know? Should make them pay if you win. I mean, you can, but I think that only really applies. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but I think you can only get paid if there were some kind of actual tangible monetary losses, right? Like, if you can prove that them claiming copyright impacted your own finances, I think that's the only time you would actually be able to argue and try and get money out of it. So most of the time, this is not worth it. So, but yeah. But I don't know. There's probably, this is why getting a lawyer is important, because I have no idea. Maybe you could like counter sue for like emotional damages or something, right? Or like defamation. There's like a lot of different ways you could sue somebody back, so it's hard to say. But yeah, it's I just would like to avoid the headache. Some people get stuck with lawsuits for years, you know? And that just seems like it'd be such a drag. It's just not even worth the trouble. Unless like something really went bad, you know? Otherwise I just don't think it's worth it. What is going on? Oh, that's the door. So it just keeps picking this door for every single scene, which is pretty odd. So yeah, it didn't seem to actually even do this stuff. Oh. What is neighbors returning? Pretty sure this should be... Oh, that's returning a... Oh, it's returning a dictionary. That's why it didn't work. We have to say, neighbors.neighbors. I was like wondering why nothing was working. Okay, that should fix that. Let's try generating this again. Emotional damage, yeah. Spend 100k on lawyers, and if they don't have the money, you can't get it? Yeah. That is true. Yeah, it just seems like it's not worth it. Let's actually print out what these values are being generated as. Because I'm not seeing it generate the straight corridor for some reason. I don't know, maybe I'm just doing it wrong. Let's do this again. It's either 255 or 0 for some reason. I'm definitely doing... Oh. That's... Yeah, I'm just... It's because everything is up. Yeah, I completely forgot. I'm just stupid. Is there like a left up, you know, shorthand, or am I just gonna have to manually write out the vector? It's not a big deal, but... No. So this is upright, so it's 1.0 minus 1.0, or 1. And this one is right. This one is down right. So 1, 1. This one's down left, so minus 1, 1. This one's left, and then this one's up left, which is minus 1, minus 1. Let's see if this works now. Let's see the homicide attempt, yeah. Let's see, this happened in one of my Oh, no. Yeah, so the judge can award you 10 million, but you never see it because that person has 0. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's just another reason not to bother with it, it sounds like. Okay, it's still just generating nothing in here, isn't it? Oh, no, it did generate values. But it's generating huge values. Something seems wrong here. What is going on? Like, this piece here should be a straight corridor piece, but it just doesn't seem to work. It's always why if someone even slightly has a case against a company, they'll just settle and give you some money because it's cheaper than fighting in court. Yeah, that is very true, isn't it? So why is this not working? So let's figure this out again. Vertical straight, up and down. 16 plus 1 is 17. That should be working. Let's just see if that happens at all, and I'll print. And then this one's horizontal straight. I don't think that one's going to generate, but the vertical one should be generating. Getting close to that. I'm excited for people in rooms. Yeah, it'll be cool. It opens us up for a lot of more things that can happen, so could be pretty neat. I need to make it so I can skip this intro thing. I just haven't gotten that set up yet. Okay, so did this print at all? It's not showing that any of these are 17, which is very odd to me. I don't know why that would be happening. Because it's going to do the first one here. Like, it generates all the pixels, and then it goes down here and does this stuff. Bigger entities even, maybe. Yeah. It's definitely possible. It'd be really neat if there's like a room with like a big flesh blob monster in the center, you know? There could be some cool stuff we could do. I'm doing this right? Up, right, down, down, left, up, left. Yeah. And there's all sorts of values being printed in here. There's one that's 255, which means that it's all of them. So we can also just do that in here. If it's 255, we say index is equal to region ID, center room or whatever. Room center. So we should see some of those generate. Let's see. So we got ads starting in just a minute. My apologies, gamers. Yeah, I think this one is a center room. It's hard to tell. Also, there's like some weird... a little bit of weirdness going on with some of these meshes. I think I need to fix some issues with some vertices. It does throw errors still in here, but it's just that usual stuff. I'm just trying to figure out why this one wouldn't be doing a straight corridor. Because it's going to get one here. Oh, but it's also getting one here and one here, or one here. That's why it's not doing it. So how do we prevent that, or how do we fix that? Because I don't care if that one gets things in the corners like that. I mean, I can just do this with if statements, so we don't have to worry about things like that. It would be a little bit easier, probably. I know this is cursed, but it might just be better this way. Because otherwise, we're going to have to take into account literally 255 different variations. And I don't know about you guys, but that seems like a headache. I don't know. There's probably like a way to do this better, and I'm just stupid, but... So vertical straight is going to be if up and down. And then all of them is if up, right, and down right, and down left, and up left. Let me know it's the center room. Like, we can kind of just keep eliminating these, and eventually it should work. But it's going to take a while. Well, let's see what this looks like. So we can see it's a little different now. We are getting straight corridors again, but still a little bit weird. This is the center room. So now I need to do some more checks. Like, for example, if we have a side wall, we can check for that. It's just gonna be annoying because we have like the same pieces generating, but in different orientations. So, like, trying to figure out how to detect all of those cases, I think is going to be really annoying. I don't know. Now I'm thinking the way I did it before was pretty smart. Even though it's a mess of if statements. God, I don't know. Because I could just check for, like... Let me think here. We could keep the old system. Just check for the rooms first, and then generate the corridors, you know? Because I'll have to check for, like, specific patterns. Like, top, right, and right. But the same shape can also happen with right, bottom. You know? So, we'll just have to check for those 4 shapes, I guess. Seems really stupid, but I don't know how else we're supposed to do it. Well, let's just keep going down the list. So if all of them do that. I guess really the corners are the only one that's really complicated like that. Well, no, we also have to do the side. It's gonna be a nightmare. I'm trying to think if there's any other better way of doing this, you know? I don't know. Feels like there isn't. It's gonna suck. Getting shot at. Go away. Also, I want to double check something really quick. Is the corner room that I did the same as the curve? Yeah, it is. Okay, good. Thank God. Oh. So what if it's almost all of them? Like, what if we have a situation where it's like this? And then, boom. That would be an inner corner piece. Actually, that one wouldn't even make any sense. Like, I think in any case of having 7 neighbors, it's always going to be like a thing like this, right? Like a center piece. I mean, technically, I guess we'd have a piece that's just that little corner over there. But I'm not going to worry about that situation, I think, for now. So the ones we need to calculate is like this piece. It's got 3 above it. Also, there are some assumptions that we can actually make with this. Like, for example, if a piece has 5 neighbors, we know that it's going to be a side wall of a room, right? So maybe we kind of do it that way a little bit. Like, I think we could still use this system, but just check for the sizes of the rooms first, and then it should work. So we can say if neighbors.size is 8, then we know it's a center room, right? And let's also just temporarily hide this stuff. So region, room, center. Then we know if it's not 8, it has to be 6. 2, 3, 4, or 5, I mean. And then a corner is going to have 4. Oh, but that could also have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, man. Neighbor is just another tile. So, like, a neighbor is, let's say that this is the position we're checking from. This will check these positions around it for neighbors. It's just any cell around it that's neighboring this cell. So. Yeah, it's going to be tricky to check this because there's certain very specific cases where these things could have like different neighbor shapes. Because like, for example, this, if we have a shape like this thing's going to check like, because neighbors now also includes the corners. Yeah, this is a bruh moment. Because what if we have like this corner piece here? This is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 neighbors, right? Which is the same as this shape. And then also we got this side is going to have... We know this side will always have 5. So I guess we just need to check this one first for 4, and then once we've done all the checks on the rooms, then we check for these guys. So this is what we can do here. Like, do all this stuff. And then in here, I want to say neighbors at index neighbors dot erase. And I want to remove all the corners, right? Just so we're checking cardinals. I mean, we could just get two different functions here. One that's getting cardinals and one that's just getting, you know. So let's just do that, I guess. So neighbors, cardinals, and then just regular neighbors. I think that's going to be the best way to do this, I guess. So we could just go copy that old function we had. This is the reason I uploaded all these changes to GitHub before I did this, because of scenarios like this. World.gd. Let me just go to the part that we removed. Which I think is right here. Okay, brought me down there. Where is it? Neighbor. Where's the... Here, get... neighbors. What? It's like it's not in here? Doesn't make any sense. Would it make any difference if you check for the black empty tiles instead of other maze tiles? I think it would kind of just end up being the same result, honestly. I don't think it would be any different. Yeah. You know what? Let's just do this. Vector2i dot up. We push back up. Otherwise, missing neighbors has up. And now we just copy this 4 times. Right. Down. I know what I'm doing here seems stupid, but I think it's going to work better than doing the other method we were doing. Essentially, this is going to be checking all the rooms first, and then if none of those works, it just uses the cardinal neighbors for the other ones. Because if it's none of these formations, then we know that it must be a regular corridor piece, right? So I think it'll work. And it just greatly simplifies this code, honestly. Okay, so those have all been changed now. So we know this one must be a side room. So now we say index is room side. Then otherwise, if it's 4, this might not work the more I think about it, but I don't know, we'll have to see. Because this could also be valid if it's 3 as well. So this probably won't ever actually run this piece of code. But let's see what happens. Oh. There's a solid wall. Let me out. Oh, whatever, we can just do the free cam. So what did it generate? So correctly identify these as side walls and these as corners, which is a good step. But as you can see, these side walls are not rotated properly. So that's like something that needs to be fixed. This corner needs to be rotated properly. So it is placing the room sections properly, which is good. Like it's a, you know, first step toward getting this all working. But the problem is that it's not continuing on to these, like to the regular corridors for some reason. So we got to figure out why. And I think I know why. I mean, it's just because... Oh, God. Because if we look in here... it's going to be complicated. I wonder how we're going to figure this out. I guess I could potentially check for missing neighbors here too. See, this one's nice and clean because it's just like, well, if it's missing one neighbor, we know it's a side piece. So complicated. These are the only two that I know for sure will always work. But it's like the corners is the one screwing us up. Like we can see if I just comment out that corner just as a little test, it's gonna like fix a lot of our issues. But obviously we still need to be able to generate corners, so it doesn't really work. But, you know, ignore the weird corner business going on, but you can see it does make a lot more sense in here now, because it's doing... Well, this one, though, this has six neighbors. Even though this should just be a corridor piece. So, yet another layer to this nightmare. Oh, boy. I don't know. This is going to be a really tricky problem to figure out. I mean, we could check for every single possible configuration like we were doing before, but I just don't think that's a realistic thing to do. That's a lot of different configurations. It's 255 of them, or 256. Which is, I don't know about that. I don't want to have to manually go through all those. And plus our code will be enormous. What is this node over here? Okay. Oh god, what have I done? Okay, the game just crashed. Do not select everything in the game. Man. I don't know. What should we do about this? Initially, this seemed like it would be an easy thing to figure out. But now the more I think about it, the more complicated it gets. We will get it working eventually, but... Oh, man. One thing that would, like, solve this issue... is to distinguish between what is intended to be a corridor and what is intended to be a room. Right? Because we could say, okay, these are corridors, and then these are rooms, so they're a different color, right? And that way we wouldn't get any of these issues because we know Room won't be checking for these other pieces in here. And these pieces are just the regular corridors, so they're just going to check in the cardinal directions. So this one finds 2. It says, hey, I'm a straight piece. And same with this one. Right. But the problem with that is we already have that system set up with drawing biomes, right? Because you get to manually define, like, all right, here's where this biome goes. So one potential solution, I don't like the idea of this, but we could have 2 images per map. And one would kind of denote which type of generation it is. And then the other would be like a biome map. You know? And that would just be colors of where the biomes are. So we could do that. But I don't know. Do we want to do that? Does that make it too annoying to make a map? I mean, it's not really that hard. Right? I mean, what do you guys think? Would that ruin it? Because we could just save this now as map roomy and then give this like a describe. What would this be describing? Generation. So we got map roomy generation. Generation. And then the other one is a biome map. So theoretically, that one could just be very... It doesn't even have to be the shape of the maze, right? Keep opening the same image. I'm a fool. So like on Map Roomy, I could just set this to whatever biome I want. I could just be like, okay, this is just all blue now, right? So it's all the freezer. Or literally just do this, right? And then call this Map Roomy Biome. I mean, anyway, you look at it, this game is objectively easy to make maps for, yeah. It's not really that complicated, just to add on one little minor addition, so I mean, maybe we just do this. Because it's going to save me a lot of headaches with trying to get this generating properly. I just don't know how else I'm supposed to really tell, because I could see, like, there's going to be a lot of cross between all this stuff, right? So, probably makes sense. So now we can just figure out what kind this is, because we're going to be looping through in here. The map image is now going to be the generation map. And then we just check a different pixel coordinate for the biome. So thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. And also, if you think about it, a lot of games do that, right? Like Minecraft does that in its world generation. It's got multiple different, like, noise maps for different, like, aspects of the generation. They've got, like, a noise map for height. Thank you for the follow. They've got a noise map for the wetness of biomes. They've got one for, you know, all sorts of stuff. So I don't think it's necessarily a super bad thing. It might be nice just to do that. I don't know. It'll be a lot easier. All right, so now instead of just grabbing pixel here, I want to say biome pixel is equal to biome image dot get pixel xy Then we say if regions table color is equal to our biome pixel, we set our region ID. So we can set two things on this coordinate now. We can set a region ID here, and also type. And we can just check the color for that. We'll just say get type from color. Enum generation types. And this is going to be corridor and room. And then get type from color. We can return, oops, generation types. Take in a color pixel, which is a type of color, I think. If color is equal to color.white, then we return generation types dot room, else return generation types dot corridor. So now we know the type, and that can be factored into our neighbor checks. So we're only actually checking nearby rooms. So this might work a lot better. Yeah, make the map rooms, copy and change the colors around. Yeah, it's not really that hard. I mean, all things considered. It's 2 images. And like the biome maps don't even have to be a copy of the layout of the place. Like you could just do a big square. As long as it's the same resolution, it'll just pick the coordinate it needs. So you don't even have to be super precise anyways. You could just generally be like, and this corner is like this biome, and then this biome's over here. So it's pretty easy. So now biome image, we have to get that. So map image up here is that. Now we're going to save our biome image. Biome image. Get image. Okay. Just pass that for now. So now let's go into our maps table. On this we have image. Then we have map, roomie, biomes, map, roomie, generation. So that's our biome, that's our generation. So white represents room, red represents corridor. So back into here. Now we can do more stuff. But just give me 1 second here. All right. So down here, this is looping through every map coordinate. So we can get a couple things here. We can also get like our generation type is this. Map chords get dot type. And we can get rid of all this stuff now. So, if generation type is equal to generation types dot room, we do a specific one. Elif generation type is equal to dot corridor. Also, something that this allows for too is we could potentially do kind of some interesting things with this system. We could include more generation types than just corridor and room. So maybe it's not even really that bad of a thing. Because I don't know what, I mean, we could do like, maybe there's like a room that generates with like a completely different kind of floor, like water or something, right? And now we have the ability to define that in our code. So maybe this is the easiest way forward. So now we can check on this. We know it's always going to be 3, so we can be very confident in this. So yeah, mostly works. So I think that should be fine for the most part. On this, though, when we say get neighbors and stuff, and neighbors cardinals, I want to be passing in the type of generation. So I know, like, which ones actually get counted. So we can pass in our generation type here. Like that. Then go in here, add in generation type, generation types. Same over here. So all we have to do is just do a simple check on here. Say if map coordinates has it. Let's just say var core data. You go to map chords dot get position plus that. If coordinate data we do that. If coordinate data and coordinate data dot type is equal to our generation type, then we know it's valid, otherwise it's not valid. I don't know why that's complaining. I swear I'm not using a ternary operator here. Huh? Oh, missing a parenthesis. So now let's just do the same thing down here. Yeah, thanks. Then I'm gonna define a quick little thing here just so we can do this as a for loop. Or I in neighbors. Now we can just do pop and get rid of all this garbage. All right. And why is that complaining? It's already a variable named neighbors. Oh yeah, ders. So if map, or we do the same thing we did up here, we get coordinate data. Position that plus I. Then we just check this exact same thing. So if it's valid and type is our generation type, we push it back. Otherwise, it's not the same type and we don't care. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work, but let's try it out. the rotation of the room corridors is still going to be completely broken, but at least what we should see happening is that we get the different generation here. It's not what I'm seeing, which is interesting. Let me go make sure I did this right. So, in generate maze, biome pixel, that should be fine. Let me just print out what our generation type is on this. Make sure I'm actually seeing both here. I should only see two. That's the corridors, and then all the others should be rooms. I see everything got printed as 0. And I'm pretty sure that 0 is corridor. Something isn't working in here. It must be this here where I say get type of color. So we say biome pixel is biome image dot get pixel xy. Oh. No, that's completely wrong. I have to get that from regular pixel. And then region ID is this, if it's equal to biome pixel. Let's try that. No wonder it wasn't working. Okay. Not happy. Valid in access of index 0 on base object of type array. And so get inverse rotation. That's nothing. Neighbors, cardinals. Generation type, position. Oh, right, because the corridors still need to check for every cardinal. Even if it's a room. That's why it's not working. So on here, we can just ignore this half of the code. And that should fix that issue. Because otherwise we end up with rooms that think that they're stranded when they aren't. Alright, so now we can see this. There's still a little bit of jank that we gotta fix, but it's better. So this is a straight corridor. This one, for some reason, is a curve, and I'm not really sure why. It shouldn't be. So let's go look at that and like try and figure that out, because I don't know why that's happening. So what should happen in here? It's a corridor type, so it says it's not that. It's not that. So if neighbors is 2, do this one. So it's just checking if neighbors 0 is the inverse rotation of 1. Doesn't like room-to-room connections, yeah. That should be fine. Neighbor cardinals. Just make sure this is all the proper things here. So yeah, somehow it's like not thinking that it's supposed to be straight, which is pretty weird. Don't know how else it would be getting those neighbors though. So if it has it, oh. Am I stupid? Yeah. I need to make sure that I'm actually putting in the proper direction I'm checking. That probably will help a little bit. At least a teensy bit. Placeholder logo. Okay. Let's try this out. Now this one is a corner, which is fascinating. But this one is fixed, so... Now why is this one a corner? Let's go back into here. So up, right, down, left. That should be fine. So I check all the things here. Position plus I. If it has it, I push back I. Otherwise, if it doesn't have it, push back that. Now I say if position is floor I map size divided by 2, so if it's in the center, it's going to push back neighbor on the south. And erase missing neighbors. Yeah, should be fine. Let's just loop through and print the neighbors, I guess. So I know it's not running in there. So neighbor cardinals. It is showing that it has 2 neighbors, so I know it's like almost correct. Let's see what it did. So first one, -1, 1. And this one showed the same neighbor twice? Or no. What? Okay, something's a little weird here. It did show the same neighbor twice. What's going on here? So it's like it just didn't get the neighbor here in front of it for some reason. But I'm not sure how that happened. Unless it's like some weird... This is all just going to be the same errors, I'm pretty sure. So the other one was totally fine and normal. It's really, really odd. Map coordinates. So we start with up. Yeah. We do eventually go to down. Should be okay. I don't know why it's not detecting a neighbor there. It's a little odd. Let's go look at our regular generate maze code. Maybe I'm missing something in here. So we're looping through the map image. Let's rename this map image to generation image. Do that just so it's a little more clear. Okay. So, let's run through this. It gets generation image. It's going to loop through. X and Y, width and height. Gets a pixel. If pixel luminance is greater than 0, which should be true for almost all those. We'll set the region by that by default. It gets a biome pixel at the biome image. It loops through every region. If it's the same color as biome pixel, it sets the region and breaks that loop. Otherwise, it says coordinate is generation image dot get width minus x plus 1. Generation image get height y plus 1. And then it pushes back region ID and type. Okay. Then down here, we're going to get neighbor cardinals. I know that it's type of corridor, so we pass in our generation type. Let's get position type. These are all in terms of vector 2, right? Int, vector 2. Yeah. And we're doing get neighbors on the cardinals. The only thing I can think of is that one of these isn't using the cardinals. But I'm not seeing that in here. I mean, let me really make sure. That's how I would explain this issue. Cardinals. Has to be. Okay. The only thing I can think of is just this one. And it's just not getting it from here or something? Like, I don't know why that would be the case, but I could double check on this. Oh, yeah, I had to restart the game. I feel like we're close, but yet so far. Once we get this thing figured out, I think the rest of it will be really easy. Okay, so this is all the neighbors that it's printing in here. Which seems pretty normal to me. Three, 6, 4, 7, 3, 8. Like, I'm not seeing anything there that's, like, out of the ordinary. Still going? Yeah, I am. I'm trying to get map generation stuff working. I'm just not sure what's wrong here. As far as I can tell, everything seems to be in order. It gets this neighbor, so this is true. It just doesn't detect anything above it. I swap the period with the slash. Where is that? Oh, you mean like that's the problem? I don't think so. Yeah, I just don't know what's going on. Ugh. Line 470, column 69. I hope I don't have anything on column 69. Oh, I do. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. It's just really perplexing to me right now. Trying to figure it out. Thank you for the follow. Also, we only really need to actually generate these if the other one, like, we can do this. Doesn't really matter, but maybe it saves a smidge on performance or something. I tried turning it off and on again. I've done that many times today. It's not even a thing of this inverse rotation things. I know that's fine. It just literally doesn't get the cardinal neighbors here. And why does it add it twice? You ever think about that?
Chip, did you swap the spangle with the thingamajig?
I swapped the spangle with the thingamajig? I don't know. I don't know if I've done that. I gotta try that. Something's up. Something's suspicious. Okay. Let's look at this again. So somehow it loops through and it gets one down and then does it again, which it shouldn't be possible, right? Something's not right here. I think I need to say this maybe minus position I. I mean, I don't know if that would really change anything. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. Position is whatever, 0, 0. We can see it in here. It should be somewhere. Or I guess it's like 3 or whatever is the position. It's like the coordinate away from the edge of the screen, so the center coordinate should be 5, I think. Right here. So we should see things generating on that coordinate here. Yeah. Yeah. So its coordinate on the x-axis is 5. Here, let's just go back in and generate maze, and I want to print out every single coordinate. I'm gonna print position. I just want to see what coordinates are here and making sure there's not like some weird coordinate. Okay, so these are all the coordinates that we got here. 6, 7. Maybe with the cheese time. So let's start drawing out where these are. Just make sure that this is doing what I expect here. So 6, 1, that's 0. Actually, is there a 0, 0? I don't even know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just gonna assume this is 5. So we've got coordinate of 6 and then 7. But with that logic, we would see some in here that are at 8. This one's at 0. Okay, so I think it's 0, 0 from this corner. So we got 6, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 7, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 6 and 5. And then 5, 7, 6, 5. Oh my god. 5, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'm looking for... What have you guys done? Now we have to have this thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's just going to generate this. So I'm looking for 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, we can see that 4, 0 is a valid coordinate. And then above that is 4, 1, which is right here. So we know that 4, 1 is a real coordinate.
Make the overlay smaller, I can see too much.
Sure thing. There you go. So why is it just not finding? Oh, it's over.
Perfect.
God. So what's that ad? Just going crazy for a minute, guys. No worries. I'm going to print out all of the position plus eyes here when we do this. Let's generate this again. Because I should see this one showing 4, 1. It does its checks, right? Also, there's no way for me to frickin' tell. Hold on. Let's print another thing before it, so I know. That's what I'm gonna print before it. Okay. Now I know which ones are which. Let's try this again. Let's see what it's printing. So it does check 4, 1, but how come it doesn't say that there's a neighbor there, right? It just doesn't make any sense. It don't make no gosh darn sense. It clearly gets 4, 1. And then it just sets neighbor to that. Is it... Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Like, when I go up... Is how it's happening here? Because let's see. We have a coordinate. Center. If it's up, I'm saying plus up. But the way I'm doing this from the bottom left. So when it does 4, 1, it's going to say push back I, which is wrong. And I presume it also does the same issue over here. Well, that one's a little bit different. Maybe. Is that one also broken? It might be. Well, let's just say when I do this, it's almost like I need to change the way the coordinate system is set up, you know? I don't know. Maybe it would make more sense. Because the way the coordinates are now is a little silly. Because for some reason, they're kind of like centered around like bottom left instead of just top left, like the image is formatted. So you end up with a lot of weird things like this that we have to account for. But it just seems a little silly, a little obtuse. It's pretty funny. Most of the cheese time is counting like from 1 to 5, yeah. I think I might change the way these coordinates are calculated. So let's go to generate maze. So we're looping through these. Say coordinate, instead of doing this garbage where I say minus x plus 1 image width blah blah blah, I just set coordinate to whatever the frick it is. So I say x, y. So now we just have an absolute normal coordinate thing going on. And then down here, I think it should all be the same stuff. Oh, but am I doing that because of the way I have to do the coordinates on the grid map? I guess the way I could change that is by just pushing the grid map up to the top left corner, and then it would be fine. Let's see what happens here. It's gonna be a little broken, probably. I love making enormous changes to the game that breaks everything. It's so fun. But it'll probably be good in the long run. Watch this. Okay. But it flipped the entire map, and I think that's the problem that I kept running into. Our only other option is to flip the elevator the other direction, but that seems like not good. I guess we'll just keep it how it was and just take that into account in our neighbor function. It's not a big deal, but it's just a little annoying. So now instead of what we're doing here, I guess this is why I had this set up manually before, because it just made more sense. Oh boy. Let's just do this. If map coordinates has that, we say neighbors push back. Else, push back this one. Let me say vector 2i dot up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what the problem is now. Then this I say vector 2 dot down, I think is what I do. So I do the inverse of this. Because like here I say if this has that, I push down the neighbor at down. And then if this has a neighbor at up, I have to push up. It doesn't make any sense though. Maybe I just do this. Sorry, I'm just thinking. I guess in a weird way, it does have to be down. I know it seems cursed, but it's just the way things have to be, okay? And we only have to swap those on these two. The other ones are normal. It's just the way that we handle these coordinates. In another life, I probably would have done this completely differently. This whole coordinate system I've got going on, but unfortunately, I have not. Okay, let's check this. Looks pretty good to me. So this one is straight. This one's also straight. So we're good. So now the last step is just figuring out the rotations of the room pieces. They're just a little quirky right now. But I think it's going to be pretty easy. Because I can always assume a very specific order of neighbors. So I know exactly what I can do. Because the way it's going to loop around checking these neighbors is like... starts with up. And then... let's go to right. Then down, then left. So I know that that order is consistent. So let's go figure this out. Or actually, yeah, it's this order in here. So generate. Nice. So it's sort of like what we do down here with these rotations, right? Like literally the curve rotation, I'm pretty sure is going to be the exact same thing. And I guess I also do that with the side pieces. So let's just do the corner here. So now we say neighbors in here instead. So if 0 is left and neighbors 1 is up, yeah, that makes sense. But instead of checking 1, I need to check 2. Because I don't care about the 1 in the corner. So if it's left and up, if it's right and up, or if it's left and down. Otherwise, it's left. We're going to see if this works. No idea. Then we do the exact same thing with the side pieces. And let's hope it all just magically works. And if it does, we can add rooms into the game. There's still some other things that are going to be problematic, like, for example, spawning in decorations inside of the center of the room is going to definitely cause problems, but nothing we can't fix. So let's go to zoom out camera. So this rotation is incorrect. This rotation is also incorrect. But they are, like, opposites of each other, which is good. And same here. Pretty sure. Maybe. Let's keep messing with it. Family Guy? Like, this song is Family Guy? Maybe. This one probably just needs to change. I mean, up and down. Working more, dude. Yeah. So let's check this out. What song is this? Creative exercise. The song's Mario Paint. That's probably actually correct. Not sure though. Okay, still, still not in the proper rotation there. But these ones are in the proper rotation. Not. Neither is that one. So those are not consistent, unfortunately. So let's see. We know that this is always going to be 3 neighbors. So we have 0. So if neighbor is left and up, we know that it's... Just trying to think if there's any other situation where it's not like that. No, that should be it. So we know in that case it's like this or whatever. Like left and up is like this shape. And this is our starting room. So we know in that case this needs to be the bottom right corner. Yeah, I might just have to keep swapping these around until we figure out the proper rotations here. Okay, let's figure out which ones are correct. I suppose. It's complicated, guys. But I swear, once it's working, it'll be epic. Okay, so the ones that are working are neighbors to left and down. That one's proper. And that's it. So left and down. Let's just put a little note here. Good. So let's just start tweaking these one by one until we can figure out what we need to do here. So let's swap this one out for left. They're all broken now. Okay. So let's swap that back. One of those was correct. So it wasn't even that one, actually. Which is strange. Good question mark? Let's revert it back to what it was and then change that one again and see if that's the difference. Okay, so that one, let's change this one now that's right. So it's the top right corner. Let's change this one to left and see what happens. Okay, so we know that the one is working is this one. Now let's see if that other one is working. I don't know which one it is. They're all wrong. So let's just keep tweaking. So let's mess with this one now. Let's do down. Let's change it to right. So that one's broken. That one's still good. Oh, now that one's working. So that one is working. Now let's change this one to... Is up before? Let's change it to down. See what happens. So we know that one and that one. So top right and bottom left are working. Let's try this again. Bottom left is working, top right is working. Okay, let's keep going. So it's not down. Let's try left, I guess. I don't know if that's actually going to work this way. But you'd think eventually it would work, right? Okay, top right working, bottom left working. Nothing. It's almost like these aren't even being used at all. Maybe they're not. I don't know. I don't think they're doing anything. So these two just seem to not be doing anything at all. Why is that? That's because they're both checking against up. All right. There's probably an easier way to check this. Because with these corners, I can just check the one at, like... Okay. I think I know what to do here. So neighbors.has vector 2i, right, top right, 1 minus 1. Then let's just say rot is equal to... Let's keep these all just the same for a second. I think this is what we want to do. So we check if it's in the top right. L if it has it in the bottom right. L if it has it in the bottom left. L if, or just else. Let me know it's the other one. So that should get all of the different orientations. Maybe it just doesn't work for cardinals because there's like different setups that you can end up with that. So now we've got that. We just have to keep going through all of them until they all work. So are any of these valid? One of them should be. Okay, that's the bottom left one. I don't know which one that is. Actually, I do know which one that is. It's the one pointing to the top right. So I'm going to say working? And just to confirm that this is like the way this is, let's purposely change that one to be the left. And I want to see what happens here. Nope. It was actually that one. See, this is what's confusing about this. So it means that the opposite of this one. Right, up, left, down. So this one is working, I think. So let's change this one to down and this one to up. Oh, we don't have the exact same problem we had before. We'll find out in a minute. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. All right. So the corners are orienting themselves properly now. So you can see it works on this room over here too. So that's all good. So the last step to getting this all working, finally, is just doing the side walls. Hopefully those aren't that bad. But we'll see. It's a little trickier because we can't rely on it always being in a corner. And the thing is that it has 3 cardinals, but I can check for the missing cardinal. And that will tell me the proper orientation. So I can say... if neighbors, missing neighbors, dot has vector 2i right, and we just keep going through. We're so close, but I do have to go eat dinner. So if it's missing right, that means it should go to the left. Otherwise, if it's missing down, left, up. So if it's missing left, it should go to the right. And then I think on these ones, since the coordinates are weird and stupid, we have to say, if it's missing down, we rotate down, and then this one we rotate up. Seems a little cursed, but I think it's how we have to do it. Okay, Godot. You guys ready to see this in action? It's gonna be crazy. I did the exact opposite orientations that they should have been. But hey, that's no big deal. So that one should be right. This one should be left. This one's up. Don't shoot me, bro. Stop. Go away. Okay, watch this, guys. I mean it this time. No way. We have rooms that are orienting properly. So I can see I've messed up the corner pieces here with the vertices. Not a big deal. I'll just go fix that. But check it out, guys. Also the side pieces. Now, the final thing that we're going to work on another time is I have to make these side pieces that are touching a corridor an open door variant. But I think that'll be relatively easy to tackle. I just have to check neighboring cardinals on corridors specifically. You know, if there's a corridor there, then go ahead and make it an open door sprite. Or not sprite, model. Yeah, it's a mess. I think the reason why it was so complicated to figure out is because of the way that the coordinate system is. Part of me is considering just rotating the entire elevator so that I can just push the grid map back and then all the coordinates would be in the proper like direction. But that is you know, quite the task. It's easier said than done, let's just say. So I'll think about that, but I'm leaning toward not doing that. So we'll see. But anyways, this is good enough for now. I have to end stream, unfortunately. But sorry it took a billion years. Very boring stream, but it's it'll be good though. Just thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. Yeah, let's go find somebody to raid. Let's see who is streaming. whole bunch of people. Would we like to raid? We'll raid Plobby, since we've been doing some 3D modeling today. Alright, thank you gamers for coming in. Feel free to grab Starground on Steam, available now. Join the Discord, and I will try and get this update ready soon. The goal right now for the Deadlift next playtest update is I just want to get the new room generation stuff implemented so we can start messing around with it a little bit and identifying all of the thousands of bugs it's going to cause. So, but yeah. I'm really curious to see how like the entities will pathfind with the rooms, because I think they should be fine, but it's one of those things I don't really know, so it'll be interesting to see. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start the raid onto Plobby. We'll be live again tomorrow at 3:30 MST, anywhere from 3:30 to 4:30. Let's just say that area. Yeah, I do apologize again for such a late stream, but things always come up. Okay, bye gamers. I'll let you know when the update is up. I'll ping you guys on Discord. And thanks for coming in. Bye bye everybody. Bye bye.